some may say that JWB has a direct access line to the Wall Street Journal because you've been on the front page of it twice, not advertised on the front page. They've written about you on the front page of the Wall Street Journal a couple of times. But what they've never written about that I've seen of what we're talking about here on the show is this idea that you look at the stats around retirement, they are bleak. All right. People are really struggling with it. And there is a big growing trend of people that are not thinking average, like all of us here, and are understanding that real estate can create a much better life scenario in the years where you are no longer having an active income, when you are counting on that thing that you saved, the nest egg that you built for retirement. And they wrote a whole piece on how people everywhere are starting to look to real estate, have real estate in their 401k, see real estate not just like as an active piece of their life and what they do for a living, but as a way to invest in their future, as a way to create a more stable retirement. They wrote a whole article about it. They released a podcast on it. I listened to the podcast. I giggled in joy. I sent it to you. We want to talk to Veronica Dagger and Ann Terrageson that wrote this article. 100%. We want to have him on the show. We want them to come to our next event. But GC, when you read this article and you see the Wall Street Journal now really talking about the plight and mission of this community that we've built, what goes through your head, man?
You know, I guess questions, I started to think of questions. First of all, I was like, wow, for the Wall Street Journal to do a very well done article where it actually went through all of the numbers for retirees and broke it down. Like, they put a lot of time and energy into this piece. Thought they did a really wonderful job with it. What was going on?
And then repurpose it into their other media, right? Like, not every Wall Street Journal article makes it to that daily Wall Street Journal briefing that I listen to every week, right? Like,
what was going on with the powers that be at the Wall Street Journal? Like, what is there a shift that's starting to happen? Are they feeling the same things that we're all feeling here, where retirement is broken and, you know, it starts with a better asset class, which is rental properties, right? Real estate, right? That was my first thought as I'm seeing this. I'm like, man, this is different than what I usually read in the Finance Wall Street Journal section.
Yeah.
What is out there? What's to come? And just the thought of doing a piece like this, I thought was very exciting for the message that we try to get across in the show.
Yeah, agreed, man. This sounds douchey to say, but like, I am somebody that is used to being ahead of the market, right? Like, I'm always out there in the future. I'm a visionary, whatever. And I've now in my career multiple times had the experience of, oh yeah, I saw this coming. You know, like, I've been talking about this for 5 years. Let's talk about it right now. Mm-hmm. And, you know, to me, this is a blip like that, right? Like, this feels like that. And this wasn't something I saw coming on my own. This is something that I've gotten to experience by sitting here and hosting this show with you, right? Mm-hmm. Like, why we get 100 folks showing up live here in the middle of their workday on a Tuesday, and why people come to our events that sell out in a week, and why everybody's so like fervently behind this and loves JWB so much, is because I think this idea of like, man, retirement went from this nebulous, scary thing that I feel way behind on to, oh my God, I'm in the driver's seat.
Yeah.
You know,
that shift right there.
And that happened to me like this, man. That shift right there is a very real thing. And I think as the pain continues to increase on the retirement vehicles that already continually exist, and as I like to say, to me, the internet is the truth, right? Like, it shines a light in every crevasse. I think long term, the internet will play out to be a positive force on humanity, even though it has its shortcomings.
Sure.
Because at the end of the day, in the giant tournament of what is right and what is wrong, the more information, the more freedom of information that's out there, the better we're all going to end up doing. And we're all going to settle on these like fundamental truths. And I think one thing that is starting to become obvious is that if you can find a way to make a part of your retirement an army of rental income properties, you are going to have a better retirement than most.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And that's what these folks that they profiled largely said. Yeah. They asked them, why did you choose this? And a lot of it was control, like you just talked about.
Yeah.
A lot of it was, well, I understand this asset class. A lot of it was, you know, and they even had one person who decided to sell out of their 401k, just like you did,
Just like
to
I
buy
did,
their
yeah.
rental properties. And it was back in like 1982. And he said it
Did
made
pretty
sense
good.
for me
Did
then.
pretty good.
And so I'm seeing that guy as you
Yeah,
just
yeah,
made
yeah.
that decision a couple of years
I've
ago.
kind of done a little bit of all of it, right?
You have, you
Yeah, yeah,
absolutely have,
Yeah.
but all of these reasons that we echo on the show are making sense to these folks as well. It was really interesting though, going through and reading the article and listening to it as well. I would highly encourage all of you to do that. There was one theme that I was also feeling, and I think you were feeling the same.
Yeah.
I'm like, man, these individuals were courageous. They did something that not your average investors do. They built their retirement accounts based on real estate and rental properties and all this. But man, JWB could have helped them so much because a lot of them
Yeah.
worked really hard in real estate and continue to work really hard in
Yeah.
real estate to make this happen. So the article positions it largely as an alternative way to build your retirement account, but it certainly highlights the pain points of doing real estate as well. And I'm fairly certain that none of these folks know about a vertically integrated turnkey rental property company. And I'm just dying to get in front of those folks and others like them.
I completely echoed with all their pain points and all their like kind of like explanation of like taking the leap. And I completely did not relate at all to their lived experience.
Like you never would have dealt with that pain of the lift if there was not
I wouldn't. I'm way too lazy for that. Yeah. Like to me, it was just like so obvious that what made sense to me was just like, oh, okay, this can happen. And I literally never have to see this house.
Yeah.
Exactly. Or talk to someone that's going to live in it, or plunge a toilet, or call a contractor, or, go put up shutters before storms happen, like whatever, man. So yeah, it is pretty interesting that they got it right in the sense of like the pain point and the trend. And it blows my mind that at no point in like doing the research and uncovering this and blah, 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 like if I was to build a story, I would have built a story around like, this is all happening, all these people, blah, blah, blah. And like, there's the Goldilocks of like, I worked this hard. And then the one of like, then I worked this hard. And then I worked just right, which was nothing, which is what investing with a turnkey vertically integrated provider.
People don't even know that's a possibility. Think about what Kelly was saying on the show 2 weeks ago. I mean, Kelly is financial advisor. She's dedicated her life to understanding, how money moves, and she is inclined to understand real estate too. She's really educated. But, more than 2 years ago, 3 years ago, she never had the idea, it never entered her mind that there would be a company that could make investing in rental properties easy, like a turnkey rental property company like JWB. So I just think that, Veronica and who wrote the articles have no clue that companies exist like this.
Oh, come on.
Anybody knows them? Come on, we got a seat for them.
Go ahead, tweet them or DM them or whatever you got to do. I would love to talk to them.
Yeah.
And just, man, it really does blow my, again, I have the greatest cognitive bias of all time because I didn't know, it wasn't just like, I knew about real estate, but I didn't know about turnkey at much, like it was like, I didn't know anything about real estate. And then all I've learned is vertically integrated rental property investing.
That is true.
So for me, when I, and now that, of course I'm like representing JWB at events and I'm talking to like other parts of the ecosystem, the fact that even folks that are spending $30,000 on a real estate education, still don't know that this way of doing it, that's like as painless as possible exists. Still blows my mind. Yeah, it's pretty cool. It's
very real.
And I know I said that I'm a trendsetter, but you guys are trendsetters, man. Like you guys have been way ahead of this thing, right? At least 14, 15 years ahead of it. This is why you've been written about on the front page of the Wall Street Journal of your innovative ways of bringing this stuff to market from the turnkey side to the build to rent side and doing it in info lots and all this type of stuff. So like the fact that y'all have not just been 14, 15 years ahead of the market, but like you continue to push the envelope of what's possible, even within the people that are already doing what you're doing, to me is one of the reasons why I love knowing you.
Well,
and having you guys as clients and whatever.
I mean, that's the value of this team. I get to be the front person here and be on the show for you, but I represent 130 folks here at JWB that have dedicated their careers to being one step ahead because we own the same assets that we recommend for you all to own. So we're right there with you. We're constantly thinking about it, dedicated our careers to it. And, that collective brain power is how we get to stay, innovative and get some of these opportunities to be featured on the front page of the Wall Street Journal and whatnot. So it's a good group to be a part of.
It's cool, man. It's cool.